Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly business meeting of the South Carolina Public Service Commission. Before we begin, please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. We now have a roll call of commissioners. Joining us virtually today is Commissioner Caston and Commissioner Irvin. Chair Belser and Commissioner Jay Williams are on leave. Here in the hearing room today is Commissioner Carolee Williams and Commissioner Hedden Thomas and Delton Powers. I would like to take the privilege before we begin the docket today to say happy birthday to Commissioner Thomas. I'm sure he would rather be out celebrating than to having to have a bag lunch on a busy morning.
Thank you.
Ms. Scarborough, if you would proceed with today's docket.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Powers and Commissioners. The first item of business is to set the next regularly scheduled business meeting. Staff recommends that the next commission business meeting be scheduled for Thursday, January the 25th, 2024 at 2:00 p.m.
The next business meeting will be January 25th at 2:00.
Today we have 17 items on the utilities agenda and 42 items on the transportation agenda. Item number 1 appears in docket number 2023-372C. This is a motion from Charter Communications, LLC, to dismiss the complaint filed by Rosia M. Morgan.
Commissioners, you've heard the item 1 as presented by Ms. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Yes, Commissioner Irvin, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. I move that the commission dismiss the complaint of Rosa M. Morgan against Charter Communications, LLC, which operates under the brand name Spectrum. Charter Communications, LLC is not a regulated telecommunications carrier in South Carolina, and therefore is not subject to the commission's jurisdiction. And neither is Charter Communications, LLC, nor its affiliates. For that reason, the basis of the complaint is such that it would have to be dismissed because we lack subject matter jurisdiction, have no regulatory authority over these entities. I move that we dismiss the complaint of Ms. Morgan. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Is there further discussion? We'll go forward with a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 2 is in docket number 2023-392G. This is a request for approval of a firm transportation service agreement between Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated and Norboard South Carolina Incorporated.
You've heard the item presented by Ms. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Commissioner Carolee Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I move that the commission approve the agreement for firm transportation service between Dominion Energy South Carolina and Norboard South Carolina, Inc.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Is there further discussion? We'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 3 is in docket number 2023-371E. This is a motion to dismiss from Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated the complaint filed by Rosia M. Morgan.
Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Irvin, you're recognized.
I move that the commission deny the motion to dismiss Dominion Energy South Carolina in this docket. The complainant actually alleges there are service issues or that she is receiving compromised electric service. I move that the commission direct the clerk to adjust the procedural schedule to provide for the pre-filing of testimony and exhibits that was held in abeyance by standing hearing officer directive number 2023-136H, and to reschedule the hearing in this matter to accommodate for filing of pre-filed testimony and exhibits. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Having heard the motion, is there further discussion?
Vice Chair Powers?
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I'll be supporting Commissioner Urban's motion, but I just wanted to note that this is, in legal terms, what they call a pro se litigant, or someone who is, not steeped in the law, just as I am not steeped in the law. And I think this motion allows extra opportunity for this person to have their case heard and have answers conveyed in a very transparent manner. And for that reason, I'm supporting the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Any further comments or discussion? We will proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries.
Item number 4 appears in dockets numbered 2023-8E and 2023-10E. This is a motion for admission pro hoc vici for John D. Burns, Esquire, filed on behalf of Carolina's Clean Energy Business Association.
You've heard item 4 presented by Mr. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Thomas, you're recognized.
I move that the commission grant the motion for admission pro hoc vici of John D. Burns, Esquire, filed on behalf of Carolina's Clean Energy Business Association. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 5 also is in dockets numbered 2023-8E and 2023-10E. This is a motion for admission pro hoc vici of Kate Huddleston, Esquire, filed on behalf of Sierra Club.
Having heard item 6, is there a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Thomas.
and I believe this is item number 5.
I'm sorry. Item number 5. Thank you.
I move that the commission grant the motion for admission pro hoc vici for Catherine Kate Huddleston, Esquire, on behalf of the Sierra Club.
All right. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 6 appears in docket number 2021-114E, which is a motion from Orangeburg County Solar Project, LLC, to substitute law firm Fox Rothschild, LLP, and attorney Taylor L. Spear for law firm Walker, Gressett, and Linton, LLC, and attorneys G. Trenum Walker and Thomas P. Gressett, Jr.
You've heard the item presented by Mr. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Caston, you're recognized.
I move that the commission grant the motion to substitute the law firm Fox Rothschild LLP and attorney R. Taylor Spear for the law firm Walker, Gressett, and Linton LLC and attorneys G. Trenum Walker and Thomas P. Gressett Jr. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Haven't heard the motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 7 is in docket number 2023-381EG. Staff recommends that this item be carried over.
Item number 7 is carried over.
Item number 8 appears in docket number 2022-3E. This is a request from Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC, for confidential treatment of certain portions of its letter to the Commission concerning the status of the Mountain Valley Pipeline dated December 13, 2023.
You've heard the item number 8 as presented by Mr. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Irvin, you are recognized.
I move that the commission grant the request for confidential treatment of portions of the December 13, 2023 letter identified by Duke Energy Carolinas LLC. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Haven't heard the motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 9 is in docket number 2011-158E. This is a request from Duke Energy Carolinas LLC for confidential treatment of its 2024 financing plan.
Having heard item 9 is presented by Mrs. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams, you are recognized.
Thank you, sir. I move that the Commission grant Duke Energy Corporation's request for confidential treatment of its 2024 financing plan.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 10 is in docket number 2023-403E. This is a request from Duke Energy Carolinas LLC for notice of waiver and hearing concerning its petition related to ongoing grid improvement plan costs.
Heard the item presented by Mrs. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Caston, you have the floor.
I move that the commission carry this matter over, including the request to waive notice and hearing until such time as the Office of Regulatory Staff notifies the commission that the review of this matter is complete. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Then we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 11 appears in docket number 2023-2E, which is a request from Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated for confidential treatment of its review of forecasting methodology and plan for its gas-fired units.
You've heard item 11 as presented by Mrs. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Thomas, you have the floor.
I move that the commission grant the request of Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated for confidential treatment of its review of forecasting methodology and plan for gas-fired units. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? We will then proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 12 is in docket number 2023-360E. This is a request from Duke Energy Progress LLC for approval of its pulse meter installation agreement, along with certain modifications to Duke Energy Carolinas LLC's dry metering contact installation agreement.
Having heard item 12 as presented by Mrs. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Commissioner Irvin, you're recognized.
Thank you. I move the commission approve Duke Energy Progress LLC's pulse meter installation agreement, along with certain modifications to Duke Energy Carolinas LLC's dry metering contact installation agreement. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner C. Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 13 is in docket number 2023-8E. This involves motions for admission pro hoc vici for Edward Brett Breitschwert, Esquire, and Tracy S. DeMarco, Esquire, filed on behalf of Duke Energy Progress.
Having heard the item from Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams, you are recognized.
Thank you, sir. I move that the commission grant Duke Energy Progress LLC's motion for admission pro hoc vici for Edward Brett Breitschwert, Esquire, and Tracy S. DeMarco, Esquire.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams, and it's very excellent pronunciation.
I think we'll let Mr. Breitschwert be the judge of that.
Having heard the motion, is any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Carolee Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item number 14 is in docket number 2023-29S. Staff presents for commission consideration final disposition of this docket.
Having heard item 14, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Caston, you are recognized.
I move that the commission grant the application of Jacob Utilities LLC for approval to establish sewer service area and rates and charges in certain portions of Pickens County pursuant to the terms of the settlement agreement filed by the parties on January 3rd, 2024. Specifically, parties agreed to a monthly rate for both wastewater usage and availability of $26.64 for the proposed 30 customers in the Kiowee Springs service territory and an operating margin of 6.73%. Jacob also agreed, among other settlement terms, to file all contracts with its third-party vendors and subcontractors in a separate docket within 30 days of the final order, as set forth in the settlement agreement, to demonstrate that all contracts are reasonably equivalent to contracts that have been negotiated at arm's length or have been competitively bid. I further move that the commission grant the request for approval of the sanitary sewage asset purchase agreement with Cliffs Club Holdings LLC at Kiowee Springs with the changes outlined in the settlement agreement. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item number 15 appears in docket number 2023-337S. This item concerns the issuance of a directive memorializing the due date for Blue Granite Water Company to file an updated report regarding volumetric sewer billing and its responses to additional issues raised by customers during the public forum and hearing held in Union, South Carolina.
Having heard the item presented by Mrs. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you. At the public forum and hearing held in Union, South Carolina on December the 18th, 2023, Blue Granite Water Company, or Blue Granite, requested the opportunity to respond to issues that arose during the hearing. Additionally, Blue Granite proposed to update the report regarding volumetric sewer billing, which accompanied Blue Granite's witness Adam James's pre-file testimony. Blue Granite proposed to, 1, provide the responses to additional issues and the updated report within 60 days, and 2, then consult with ORS on the responses, the updated report, and next steps. At the hearing, the chair stated that 60 days from the public forum hearing was reasonable to file the updated report and responses to additional issues raised during the public forum and hearing. Therefore, I move that the commission ratify the action of the chair in a directive order of the commission and further provide a stated date certain for Blue Granite to submit and file its updated report regarding volumetric sewer billing and responses to additional issues no later than February the 16th, 2024. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 16 appears in dockets numbered 2023-8E and 2023-10E. This item includes numerous components, including the status of the integrated resource plans of the Duke companies in these two dockets, a motion to hold interveners' direct testimony deadline in advance from South Carolina Coastal Conservation League, Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, Upstate Forever, and Vote Solar, a motion from the Office of Regulatory Staff for a declaratory judgment, and other correspondence related to the procedural schedule in these two dockets.
You've heard the item presented by Mrs. Scarborough as item number 16. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams, you are recognized.
Thank you, sir. On November 30th, 2023, the Duke Energy Progress LLC, also known as DEP, and Duke Energy Carolinas LLC, also known as DEC, collectively the Duke companies filed supplemental testimony in the interest of transparency and for the purpose of updating the Commission and all parties in this docket on substantial material changes to the company's load forecast since the preparation of the company's 2023 to 2024 Integrated Resource Plan, also known as an IRP. The company's letter dated, this comes from the company's letter dated November 30th, 2023. The updated fall load forecast submitted on November 30th, 2023 shows approximately 4,000 megawatts of projected load growth between 2024 and 2030. So between 2024 and 2030. Compared to the initial 2023 spring load forecast used to develop the 2023 IRP, the peak load growth in the updated 2023 fall load forecast has increased by approximately 2,000 megawatts. On December 7th, the Office of Regulatory Staff filed a letter with the Commission outlining its significant concerns with the proposed update and its impact on the parties' ability to perform their statutorily necessary review within the established time frame. Updated modeling information will not be available until at least 2 weeks after the January 16th deadline for ORS and interveners to file direct testimony. ORS continues to state in its letter that the company's update essentially will require the parties to conduct 2 comprehensive reviews of the IRPs, which will negatively impact ratepayers with a considerable increase in costs associated with these dockets. The South Carolina Coastal Conservation League, Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, Upstate Forever, and Vote Solar, collectively the movements, filed the motion to hold intervener direct testimony in abeyance on December 22nd, 2023, requesting that the Commission issue an order to hold in abeyance the January 16th, 2023 deadline for interveners and ORS to file direct testimony to allow parties further time to discuss a reasonable resolution of the procedural issues raised in the motion. The movements further requested the Commission act on this motion on an expedited basis. The ORS, Clean Energy Buyers Association, Clean Energy Business Association, and Sierra Club each filed letters in support of the motion, requesting the Commission hold in abeyance the January 16th, 2024 deadline. These parties have serious concerns regarding the parties' ability to review the updated load forecast, which Duke Energy Progress and Duke Energy Carolinas provided to the parties on December 8th, 2023 in these proceedings. Sierra Club, on December 27th, 2023, the Duke companies filed a response to the motion regarding the procedural schedule filed by the movements. The Duke companies recognize the challenges that the supplemental information may present in these dockets and expressed openness for feedback and discussion from the parties of record regarding the revised procedural schedule proposed by the companies. On January 3rd, 2023, the Duke companies filed a copy of proposed procedural schedule adjustments. Following a status conference between all parties of record and Commission staff on January 5th, 2024, Standing Hearing Officer Hill issued a directive order holding the January 16th pre-filing deadline for the direct testimony and evidence of all parties other than the applicant, Duke companies, in abeyance until further action. See Standing Hearing Officer Directive number 2024-2-H. On the same day, the Office of Regulatory Staff filed a motion for declaratory judgment. The Duke companies have acknowledged that additional modeling is required as a result of the updated load forecast, adding an additional 2,000 megawatts of peak load over and above that included in the load forecast on August 15th, 2023. The additional modeling is being performed at this time. The Duke companies further admit that these new modeling results will not be provided to the Office of Regulatory Staff or to any other intervening parties of record until January 31st, 2024 at the earliest. I move that the Commission grant the request of the intervening parties of record to hold in abeyance the January 16th, 2024 deadline for ORS and interveners to file direct testimony and exhibits. I further move that the Commission direct the clerk of the Commission to set the motion for declaratory judgment filed by the Office of Regulatory Staff for oral argument during the week of January 22nd before the Commission. The Duke companies and any other interveners other than ORS shall have until no later than noon of Tuesday, January 16th, to file a response to the motion of the Office of Regulatory Staff. The Office of Regulatory Staff shall have no later than 5 days from the date of a response to file a reply, if any. It is requested that when filing a response or reply, the party shall electronically send a courtesy copy to all parties of record. Any party requesting to appear virtually during the upcoming oral argument to be scheduled by the clerk should make this request no later than the close of business, which is 4:45 p.m. on January 18th. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams, for your motion. Having heard the motion, is any further discussion? We will then proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carolee Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner, well, I vote aye. And the motion carries. I need to go back to item number 14 for a second. I voted on that matter, and it appears that I was on leave during some of that case, and I would like to remove my vote from the record. Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you. Item number 17 appears in dockets number 2018-321E and 2018-322E. This is a joint request from Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC for the extension of their electric transportation pilot programs, or, in the alternative, approval of the company's request, subject to modifications or conditions it believes may be appropriate under the extension period.
You've heard the item presented by Mr. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Commissioner Irvin, you are recognized.
Thank you. On November 16, 2023, Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC requested a 12-month extension of the electric transportation pilot programs previously approved by the Commission. These pilot programs are set to expire on January 13, 2024. Whether or not these electric transportation pilot programs would be extended was scheduled for action on the Commission's Utilities Business Agenda for November 30, 2023. On November 27, 2023, the Office of Regulatory Staff requested that the commission carry the matter over so that the Office of Regulatory Staff could conduct its review of these programs. The commission carried the matter over due to this request from the Office of Regulatory Staff. On January 10, 2024, the Office of Regulatory Staff filed its comments in opposition to the Duke Company's request to extend these pilot programs. ORS stated that it has engaged in discovery with the Duke companies about these electric transportation pilot programs concerning the cost, the revenues collected, the level of program participation, and the insights gained by the companies. I move that the commission deny the request of Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress LLC to extend the DC fast charge pilot programs and the residential EV charging pilot program. If the Duke companies disagree with ending these pilot programs, they have the ability by law to request reconsideration of this matter. I further move that the commission grant its standing hearing officers with the authority to rule upon any motion that may be filed in these dockets until such time that further action, if any, can be taken by the commission. Both the Duke companies and the Office of Regulatory Staff have provided information to the commission regarding the impact, benefit, and cost to its non-participating ratepayers. I note that there is nothing in this motion that prohibits Duke from continuing to prepare for future electrification of transportation to meet the needs of their customers. Duke acknowledges in its reply filing that it is planning to serve the load and meet customer needs in transportation electrification, and that such planning or proposals are matters pending in other dockets before the commission. The question today, however, concerns whether or not these pilot programs proposed in 2018 and implemented in 2020 for a specific time and purpose have now satisfied their purpose. I believe these pilot programs have accomplished their stated purpose. We thank the 245 residential customers of Duke Energy Carolinas for sharing their charging data and information. Having met the purpose intended, it is not prudent action to continue the cost of these pilots at the expense of the non-participating ratepayers of the Duke companies. The final report on these pilot programs is due within 180 days from the end of this program. We encourage the parties to continue exploring innovations and to promote ideas and solutions while keeping vigilant the impact and potential cost on ratepayers in the state of South Carolina. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none,
Vice
we'll
Chair.
proceed.
Vice Chair Powers.
Excuse me, Commissioner Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Commissioner Urban, I'm going to support your motion, but I want the company to know that more information would have gone a long way with me in my decision making. Let me give you a few examples. For the Duke Energy Carolinas residential electric vehicle program, I'm sympathetic for the 245 or so households that will have to roll off the pilot program, and your motion that will have to roll off the pilot program. But there are items that there's information we don't know. While we have a rough idea of the cost per month, we don't know the cost per month from the company's perspective. What are the challenges that cause the permanent off-peak credit program to take longer than anticipated? We don't know how many months before the company transitions to a permanent program. And does this relate to the recent Duke Energy Carolinas rate increase request? For the Duke Energy Carolina, Duke Energy Progress fast charging program, which what is the minimal additional cost referenced in the January 11th letter to the Public Service Commission that's indicated that would be needed to keep the program going? In how many more months can this program be retired? Regarding both programs, we don't know what the implication of a short extension would be. And in 2020, the Duke companies expected to incur approximately $400,000 for the residential EV charging program, $5.22 million for the DC fast charging station program, and $420,000 for combined education outreach and operations and maintenance costs. How did the costs to date relate to the estimates that we were given in 2020? The report on lessons learned from these pilot programs is currently due on July 13th, 2024. That report is a key learning product of the pilot. Could the program be extended a short time and still be concluded with this pilot report being produced by July 13th, 2024? Those are examples of information that I would have liked to have seen, and for that reason, I support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Thomas, you're recognized.
Oh, I had no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We will then proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries.
Vice Chair Powers, that completes the utilities agenda before the commission. Moving on to the motor carrier agenda, in Part A, we have 17 requests for new Class C certificates that the commission can address together. Item A1 appears in docket number 2023-389T, which is the application of Proficient Voyages LLC for a Class C charter certificate. Item A2 is in docket number 2023-393T, which is a request from Compass Luxury Transportation LLC for a Class C charter certificate. Item A3 is in docket number 2023-394T, which is an application from Opulence Transportation LLC for a Class C taxi certificate. Item A4 appears in docket number 2023-395T. This is the application of Attentive Angels Transport LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A5 is in docket number 2023-396T, which is the application of Upstate Taxi for a Class C taxi certificate. Item A6 is in docket number 2023-397T. This is the application of ARS Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A7 is in docket number 2023-398T. This is the application of Classy Limo Elite Transportation LLC for a Class C charter certificate. Item A8 appears in docket number 2023-399T. This is the application of Nelson Taxi for a Class C taxi certificate. Item A9 is in docket number 2023-400T. This is the application of Cheryl Mitchell for a Class C taxi certificate. Item A10 is in docket number 2023-401T, which is the application of Brown's Medical Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A11 is in docket number 2023-402T. This is the application of Carolina Community Care Transportation Services LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A12 appears in docket number 2023-404T, which is the application of Brown's Medical Transportation LLC for a Class C stretcher van certificate. Item A13 is in docket number 2023-405T. This is the application of 24/7 Medcare Transport LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A14 is in docket number 2023-406T, which is the application of Simply Chartered LLC for a Class C charter certificate. Item A15 is in docket number 2023-407T. This is the application of Amore 5 LLC for a Class C charter certificate. Item A16 is in docket number 2023-408T, which is the application of Washington FAM Transport LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. And finally, item A17 appears in docket number 2023-410T. This is the application of SDS Non-Emergency Medical Transport Care Services LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
Commissioners, you've heard items A1 through A17 as presented by Ms. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Commissioner Thomas, you have the floor.
I move that commission approve the application for Class C certificates in item numbers A1 through A17 as listed by Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Having heard the motion, is any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
I vote aye, the motion carries.
In Part B of the transportation agenda, we have 3 requests to amend certificates. Item B1 appears in docket number 2023-343T. This is a request from Myrtle Beach Taxi and Limo Service to amend its application for a Class C taxi certificate to read James Malcolm White, doing business as Myrtle Beach Taxi and Limo Service.
You've heard item B1 is presented by Mrs. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. I move that the commission grant the request of Myrtle Beach Taxi and Limo Service to amend its application for Class C taxi certificate to read James Malcolm White, doing business as Myrtle Beach Taxi and Limo Service.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carol Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item B2 is in docket number 2019-38T. This is a request from James Malcolm White, doing business as J.W. White Limo Service, to amend Class C Charter Certificate number 9421 to read James Malcolm White, doing business as Myrtle Beach Taxi and Limo Service.
Having heard item B2 as presented by Ms. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Caston, you're recognized.
I move that the commission grant the request of James Malcolm White, doing business as JW Limo Service, to amend its Class C Charter Certificate number 9421 to read James Malcolm White, doing business Myrtle Beach Taxi and Limo Service.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Williams.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item B3 is in docket number 2023-236T. This is a request of Aiken Transport Express, LLC, to amend passenger restrictions on Class C Charter Certificate number 9881 to reflect 15 passengers.
Having heard item B3 is presented by Mrs. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Irvin, you're recognized.
thank you. I move the commission grant the request of Aiken Transport Express LLC to amend the passenger restrictions on its Class C Charter Certificate number 9881 to reflect 15 passengers. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
In Part C of the transportation agenda, there are 11 requests for extensions of time. Item C1 is in docket number 2023-269T, which is a request from David Moore, doing business as Mainstream Transit, for a 6-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Are we proceeding on C1 through C11?
Thank you. Item C2 appears in docket number 2023-290T. This is a request from Advent Care Transportation, LLC, for a 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C3 is in docket number 2023-321T, which is a request from Love and Touch Transportation, LLC, for a 9-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C4 is in docket number 2023-280T. This is a request from TM Dependable Transportation, LLC, for a 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C5 is in docket number 2023-316T. This is a request from Sunrise Medical Transport, LLC, for a 6-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C6 is in docket number 2023-296T. This is a request from Cherry's Go-To Transportation Service, LLC, for a 6-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C7 is in docket number 2023-305T, which is a request from Jacobs Infinity Luxury Transport, LLC, for a 6-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C8 is in docket number 2023-314T. This is a request from Nice and Clean Transportation, LLC, for a 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C9 is in docket number 2023-340T. This is a request from Joppa Ed, LLC, for a 6-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item C10 is in docket number 2023-323T. This is a request from Angels to Your Door In-Home Care, LLC, for a 9-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. And finally, item C11 is in docket number 2023-325T. This is a request from A Prime Time Home Care Agency, LLC, for a 9-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Having heard items C1 through C11, is there a motion?
Vice Chair Powers?
Carolyn Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I move that the commission grant the extensions of time from the date of request for Class C certificates in item numbers C1 through C11 as listed by Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Is there any further discussion? If not,
Vice Chair Power, I have one question, if I may.
certainly, Commissioner Caston.
With those extensions, some being 6 months, some being 3 months, and I guess I guess due dates would and could be different. They would not be the same, but those would be
That's correct.
stated in the orders, correct?
Correct.
Commissioner Caston, some of the differences also relate to the applications of each of the individual applicants. And so they ask for different timeframes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Any further discussion? Then we will proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
In Section D of the Transportation Agenda, we have 3 requests for reinstatement. Item D1 appears in docket number 2011-139T. This is a request from Jerry Davis for reinstatement of Class C taxi certificate number 8409. Item D2 is in docket number 1997-431T. This is a request from Betty Ann McCrae for reinstatement of Class C taxi certificate number 6551. And item D3 is in docket number 2018-186T. This is a request from Carolina Best, LLC, for reinstatement of Class C non-emergency certificate number 9374.
Thank you. We've heard items D1 through D3 as presented by Mrs. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers.
Commissioner Thomas.
I move that the commission grant the request for reinstatement of Class C taxi certificates in item numbers D1 and through D3 as listed by Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Is there any further discussion? Then we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
In Part E of the transportation agenda, we have 3 requests to suspend certificates. Item E1 is in docket number 2011-312T. This is a request from Unity Partners LLC, doing business as Carolina Moving Solutions, to suspend Class E household goods certificate number 9790-B until December the 14th, 2024.
I'm
Vice Chair
sorry.
Powers?
Let me repeat that, turn my mic off. Having heard that item E1 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of Unity Partners LLC, doing business as Carolina Moving Solutions, to suspend their Class E household goods certificate number 9790B until December 14th, 2024.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item E2 appears in dockets numbered 2022-330T and 2023-375T. This is a request from True to You Transport Services LLC for suspension of Class C non-emergency certificate number 9767.
Having heard item E2 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers?
Commissioner Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of True to You Transport Services LLC to suspend its Class C certificate number 9767.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion made by Commissioner Williams, is there any further discussion?
Vice Chair Powers?
You still have the floor, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just want to say how much I love the names of these transportation companies, and True to You, I think you must have had a lot of fun coming up with your names. So I just needed to add some liveliness to our conversation.
We'll take it. Thank you very much. Is there any further discussion? Then we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item E3 is in dockets numbered 2023-150T and 2023-375T. This is a request from Concierge Car Service LLC for suspension of Class C charter certificate number 9818.
Having heard item 3 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make another motion.
Commissioner Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of Concierge Car Service LLC to suspend its Class C certificate number 9818.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
In Part F of the transportation agenda, we have one request to withdraw an application. Item F1 is in docket number 2022-342T. This is a request from Living Waters Med Transport LLC to withdraw its application for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
Having heard item F1 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Caston, you are recognized.
I move that the commission grant the request of Living Waters Med Transport LLC to withdraw its application for Class C non-emergency certificate for operation of motor vehicle carrier. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Caston, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
In Part G of the transportation agenda, we have two requests to cancel certificates. Item G1 is in docket number 2023-240T. This is a request from Nationwide Taxi LLC to cancel Class C Charter Certificate number 9854.
Having heard item G1 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Irvin, you are recognized.
I move the commission grant the request of Nationwide Taxi LLC to cancel their Class C Charter Certificate number 9854. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Item G2 appears in docket number 2020-196T. This is a request from Wayforth Transportation LLC to cancel Class E Household Goods Certificate number 9882.
Having heard item G2 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, is there a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Irvin, you again recognized.
thank you. I move the commission grant the request of Wayforth Transportation LLC to cancel their Class E Household Certificate number 9882. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
In Part H of the Transportation Agenda, we have one request to amend an application and for an extension of time to comply with Commission rules and regulations. Item H1 is in docket number 2023-285T. This is a request from Sweetgrass Tours Plus Charters for a 3-month extension of time to comply with Commission rules and regulations and to amend its application for a Class C Charter Certificate to read Kevin Kane doing business as Sweetgrass Tours and Charters.
Having heard agenda item number H1 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, do I hear a motion?
Vice Chair Powers,
Commissioner Thomas, you're recognized.
I move that the commission grant the request of Sweetgrass Tours Plus Charters for a 3-month extension of time until April 11th, 2024 to comply with commission rules and regulations. I also move that the commission grant the company's request to amend its application for Class C charter to read Kevin Kane, DBA, Sweetgrass Tours and Charters. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Finally, in Part I of the Transportation Agenda, we have a request for acceptance of testimony out of time. Item I1 appears in docket number 2023-383T. This is a request from the Office of Regulatory Staff for acceptance of the direct testimony and exhibit of Thomas McGill out of time.
Vice Chair Powers, I would like to make a motion.
Commissioner Williams, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of the Office of Regulatory Staff for the commission to accept the direct testimony and exhibits of Thomas McGill out of time. The commission will also allow a 1-day extension of time for affected carriers in this docket to file their direct testimony.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Williams.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Vice Chair Powers and Commissioners, this concludes all business notice before the Commission today.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough. I'd like to remind everyone that the next business meeting will be on January 25th, 2024 at 2 o'clock. I would also like to extend my congratulations and appreciation for our staff who has worked so hard And if you look at the length of this docket, no matter what's going into it, you'll see that they really have put themselves out, and they are appreciated by us. Having said that, I hope you all have a nice weekend, and we will see you January 25th.